The Knicks just got eliminated in Game 7, and of course, Chris and I are here to break it all down. All that and much more on the Knicks Digest. What's up, guys? It's your boy, Dariel and Chris. Chris, I'm getting right into it, man. I'm going to give kudos to the Pacers. I'm going to do that later on in the video. But what I'm going to be talking about right now is the mental lapses that we've had in Game 7. The opportunity to go back to the Eastern Conference Finals since the first time since the 1999-2000 season. And what do we end up doing? We ended up giving up turnovers, making TJ McConnell look like Dennis Rodman from the Detroit Pistons. Not even the Dennis Rodman from the Chicago Bulls. The Detroit Pistons Dennis Rodman. When he was all over the court getting charges on Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, when he was the worm. And we make TJ McConnell look like the best player that ever existed. We make Tyrese Halliburton come into the Garden in a Game 7 looking like Michael Jordan. First and foremost, Tyrese Halliburton coming into the Garden in a Game 7. Kudos to you for coming up to perform when the lights are on the brightest, because we have not seen you play like this on the road in the playoffs. But of course, in Game 7 against the Knicks, you have to come up and to perform. So kudos to you. And again, I'll give the rest of the kudos to the Pacers a little bit later in this video. But the mental lapses that we've had, now I don't want any participation trophies as far as the injuries, as far as OG, Randle, Bogdanovich, Mitchell Robinson not playing. I don't care about all that. The players that we had on the floor, we had enough to beat this Pacers team. And for some reason, we didn't come out with the intensity that we needed to play in a Game 7 in the Garden. The thing that I'm most disappointed in, we had the game at the Garden where the crowd was going crazy from the jump. I thought that was going to be the key factor in us getting over the hump, especially with all the injuries that we're dealing with Brunson not being 100%, Josh Hart not being 100%, DiVincenzo playing hobble the entire series. I thought the crowd energy was really going to get us over the hump. But what do we end up doing? We end up giving up turnovers. We end up making stupid decisions. If it wasn't for Alec Burks in the first half, this game would have been over by maybe the middle of the second quarter. I am so disappointed, and I don't care how far we've came with all the injuries that we have. I am very disappointed that we lost in Game 7 at the Garden, and I really, truly believe that we deserve to win this game based off how we played for the entire series. If I'm basing the series off of one game and off of today, we did not deserve to win that game. The Pacers came into the Garden, they showed up, they showed out, which I'm 100% surprised, because I said a little bit earlier that the whole series, they've shown us to not show up on the road. But on Game 7, when the lights are on at the brightest, Tyrese Halliburton came to play. He actually showed up. He wasn't a ghost like he was in Game 5. TJ McConnell looked like Dennis Rodman. So kudos to the Pacers for coming up to play. And they're moving on now to the Boston Celtics. But I am super disappointed in how we ended the season. And I'm okay now.
Sometimes you got to get it out. The Knicks are better than the Indiana Pacers. We all know that. Obviously, the Pacers deserve to win this series. They were better in Game 7. They were better in Game 6. They were better in Game 7. They were better at home. They deserve to win this series. Knicks deserve to lose. But at the end of the day, we know what's going to happen. We know what was going to happen regardless. We know the Boston Celtics were going to beat a depleted Knicks. OG, we saw, was clearly still injured. Josh Hart was injured.
He looked better, though.
What's up?
He looked better today, though.
Hart? Yeah, he did. But, still.
With
an abdominal injury. He's not going to be 100%. Without OG, Knicks weren't beating the Celtics. Any hope about it? Pacers are going to get manhandled by the Celtics. It is what it is. I was upset in the moment. I also know that the Knicks are smart. They're going to be back. It is going to be this team. They're not the Lakers who panicked and traded their role players for Russell Westbrook. Leon Rose is good at his job. The Knicks, for the first time since 1999 and 2000, mind you, I wasn't alive when that happened, went to the second round of the playoffs twice in a row. In 4 years of Leon Rose, the Knicks have been in the playoffs 3 times. 1 year they missed it. Everything that could have went wrong. The Knicks are in position with flexible cap, when it comes to tradable contracts. They have 8 tradable first-round picks. They have a superstar in Jalen Brunson. They have Dante DiVincenzo, who, is maybe the most underpaid player in basketball. OG Anunoby is coming back. And because of these injuries, silver lining, he's getting a cheaper deal. Isaiah Hartenstein, unless the team gives him more than the 4 years, $72 million that the Knicks are going to offer him the second free agency begins, he's coming back. And no team's offering him that because the 5 teams with cap space all have centers. It's the 76ers, Spurs, Pistons, the Jazz. All of them have long-term centers. The Knicks are fine. This sucks because a healthy Knicks team contends with the Celtics. They probably would have beaten a healthy Bucks team. Fully healthy Knicks, fully healthy Bucks. Knicks probably go to the conference finals to play the 76ers. That could have went either way. They could have went either way with any team in the NBA Finals. I think the Timberwolves would have given them hell, but the Knicks showed that they could beat them when they were fully healthy, discounting the fact that Mitch was still injured, but Mitch is always injured nowadays. The Mavs, the Knicks would have beat. This is all fully healthy, I mean. The Nuggets, they could have easily beat. They've been good against the Nuggets for a while now. The Thunder, I know the Thunder are eliminated, but they could have beaten them. They probably would have beaten them because the lack of size the Thunder had. The Knicks are in the best position they've been in my entire life. I'm a grown man. I know it's not a lot to a lot of people who are watching this, but I've spent 22 years on this planet, and for 13 of them, I have loved the Knicks more than any other sports team. This is by far the best position they've been in since way past 1999 when they made the finals, because that was a fluke. Not to say that they didn't deserve it, but they did, they did deserve it, but like.
No, I get it. It was a lockout season, and that season was weird. But yo, you just said that you're 22 years old. This is the best position the Knicks have been since you've been alive. Imagine me, bro. I'm 12 years older than you, bro. I've been through the gauntlet, and this is why I'm mad because we had the opportunity was there for us. Even with all the players that we had out, we still had. It was just one game that we had to just muster up all of our energy, and we had the crown behind us. We just had to put all of our energy into one game. And then, yeah, if we go on to lose to the Boston Celtics in 4 games or in 5 games, fine. It's okay. But that would have been a way more successful. This is still a successful season, but I can't say that it's like 100% way better than last season. We still lost in the second round. And another reason why I'm so upset is because we never know what's going to happen in the NBA. The window for opportunity, we have no idea. Look at the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics have been to the Eastern Conference Finals 6 out of the last 8 seasons. How many rings do they have in that time span? 0. And this season, they're not going to have any rings as well. They're going up against Denver or Minnesota, in my opinion. Whoever wins today in the Game 7, that's going to be the NBA champion. Boston is not going to win against Denver or Minnesota Timberwolves. So that's going to be 7 out of 9 years, I think, that they're going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals or something like that. So the window of opportunity, we just never know what it's going to look like. And we had it right here in the palm of our hands. And of course, I hate to say this, man, but I really do feel like we're the Clippers of the East, bro. There's some sort of thing with the basketball guys that like the Knicks, there's always going to be something like a carrot dangling in front of us. Like this could be you, but you're not going to be able to grab it.
In reality, every single of the Leon Rose era that you could also call like the Julius Randle into Jalen Brunson era, the Knicks have been missing Mitchell Robinson due to an injury in the playoffs. That has been the key injury 2 out of the 3 years. This year, the key injury was Randle, and then Mitch, and then Bojan, and then OG, and then at the very end, Brunson, who has a fractured hand, in case anyone missed that.
Don't forget Josh Hart. He messed up his abdominal.
Josh Hart, who was injured. Dante DiVincenzo was going through some stuff. The entire team was hurt. Usually when this has happened, it's been the same guy who we know has injury issues. Does it make it better? No, absolutely not. You're right. This season, at the end of the day, we still entered the playoffs and did not end on a win. So the ultimate goal was not achieved. But the Knicks just set themselves up to only get better. I understand that the window can close in a second. We don't know what's going to happen in the offseason. Who knows? Maybe for no reason a team overpays Hartenstein and he leaves, right, and we have to live with the fact that we're banking on Mitch being healthy or having Precious Achiuwa as our backup center, which I know you don't like, and starting to agree with you. I did not love how he played in the playoffs at all because the basketball IQ is lacking. The Knicks are in good position to win for the future. Does that mean they're going to? No. Does it mean they might? Sure. And right now, they're the most enticing destination outside of maybe Philadelphia. Maybe. But the Knicks are going to be where a player would request a star trade to, or a star player would request a trade to. And we don't even theoretically need to do that at this point.
True.
We're banking on being healthy. At some point, our whole team should be healthy. And also, to tie it back, I get Randle was another key injury in the playoffs last year because he was playing on that busted ankle.
Right.
Julius Randle had 2 freak injuries. What's the likelihood that happens a third straight year? Pretty low.
Yeah, with our luck, with the Knicks' luck, you never know. Can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Flat out, yes or no? Is this season a success?
Absolutely.
You think so?
100%.
I'm not even sure, though, because we still lost in the second round again. I get it. I know, 100% I get it. To back-to-back seasons, we haven't had this type of success in forever, so I get it. But with the ascension of Brunson, that we've seen him progress to become the type of player that he is, and this season, he's undoubtedly become the best player in the Knicks franchise. Probably the best player we've had since Patrick Ewing, and I'm sorry to say this, but yes, he's over Carmelo Anthony at this point. So with that being said, knowing that Jalen Brunson is the best Knicks player that we had since Patrick Ewing, in the second season, we're still ending up in the second round of the playoffs. And of course, we have to throw in the caveat of all the injuries. I get it. But at the end of the day, you still have to play with what you have available in front of you. And I'm not sure if I can call this a successful season. Like, a successful season for me, undoubtedly, if we went to the Eastern Conference Finals, I don't care if we got swept. If we lost in 4 games and 5 games, I don't care. It would have been undoubtedly a successful season. But if we lost again in the second round of the playoffs, back-to-back seasons, I can't say it's a successful season. It's the same thing. It's just the same thing.
It is very uncommon for a team to win the NBA Finals when they haven't been a playoff mainstay for a while. And by that, I don't mean just making it and losing in the first round. The Denver Nuggets lost a bunch of times before they won the NBA Finals. And like the Denver Nuggets, and unlike the Boston Celtics, the Knicks have a basketball player that is better than Jason Tatum. And this isn't just to throw a stray at the Celtics and Tatum. It's the fact that they are the epitome of the team that you're making an argument for on why this is not a successful season. Now, the Knicks entering this year were not supposed to go to the conference finals.
Facts.
The Knicks never at any point, because how fast Randle got injured, were never supposed to go to the conference finals. A lot of people picked us to lose to Philadelphia. And that's fair reasoning why they thought that. Philly was good.
That's crazy.
They were a good team. They probably would have beat the Pacers because they had both their all-stars healthy enough. Or, like, healthy enough, like, because Embiid and his knee and all that. But, like, to establish yourself as a playoff mainstay and not just a team that gets there and loses more often than not. A team that you see year after year wins playoff series, they oftentimes are the same teams that win the NBA Finals. Like, if the Timberwolves do it this year, say they win, because I agree with you, winner of Game 7 tonight is winning the Finals. Mm-hmm. These are the 2 best teams in the NBA. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But the Timberwolves would be shockingly great to win the NBA Finals after all their experience in the Edwards era is what? A play-in loss or 2 play-in wins and then getting eliminated in the first round twice. Like, that'd be impressive to do that. When
they would be like they'd be like an anomaly. They didn't have a lot of playoff experience, and then one year just go straight to the finals. My bad, I cut you off. You were gonna say something about the Warriors?
No, I was just gonna use them as another example because they made the playoffs. They didn't instantly go to those NBA Finals. They made the playoffs a handful of times, like 2 or 3 times before Steph broke out, and everything went right for them that year. And that's like a team, like every other team in NBA history. They won a finals based off someone getting injured on a different team because every year injuries affect playoffs. Unfortunately, the Knicks were on the wrong side of it this year. So were a lot of teams, including the Milwaukee Bucks, who the Knicks undoubtedly would have played in the second round had Giannis been healthy. Like, this is a weird year. Yeah. And with a lot of injuries, the Pacers happened to get lucky.
Dog, just the Indiana Pacers going to the Eastern Conference Finals against Boston Celtics, that doesn't even sound right. That doesn't sound right.
Boring, dude.
This is obviously this is not a Pacer YouTube channel. I'm gonna ask you a question regarding the Knicks, but before I do that, I do want to give some kudos to the Pacers because, dude, I was impressed. Straight up, I was impressed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I was not even kind of expecting them to play this kind of game in a Game 7 in the Garden, where this entire series, we have no proof of that. In the first half, they shot 72%, bro. 72%, and I think like midway through the second half, I think Mike Breen or JJ said that like that 72% was like not, it went down to like 69 or 70%. 72% in the first half, 70% in the second half, like, and then on top of that, with all the things that we were dealing with, like, yo, we didn't have a chance. And then it's not that we didn't have a chance. Let me take that back. It's just that we didn't have enough. That's what I wanted to say. We didn't have enough. And I texted the group chat, obviously offline, and like I'm just watching the second half, and I'm just like, every time we had a bucket, every time we had like a small momentum play going in our way, what ended up happening on the opposite side of the floor? Tyrese Halliburton would hit a three. TJ McConnell would get into the lane and hit a little floater. Pascal Siakam would do that stupid spin move that I swear I would have blocked 5 times in this game alone, bro. Every time we had a little bit of momentum, the Indiana Pacers, they grew up. They grew up tonight, and I can't say anything about it because I was not expecting it, and they did what they had to do. So kudos to them. But that's the only like praise I want to give the Indiana Pacers.
Real quick, shout out Rick Carlisle. I hated on him a ton throughout this playoff series. The adjustments he made after game 2 were impeccable. And as time went on, Brunson was figuring out Aaron Nesmith because Jalen Brunson's just that good.
Facts.
So Rick Carlisle coached a hell of a series that he should have lost. And he knew he should have lost it for a while. When you go down 2-0, it's tough to win a series. And Carlisle absolutely did his job. And shout out to him. He did great.
Rick Carlisle, a.k.a. Jim Carrey. All right, I want to bring up this question before we wrap it up, unless you have anything else to say. But the whole Julius Randle coming into next season, what are your thoughts and feelings regarding Julius Randle coming back into the fray, knowing that it's a different kind of team? It's going to be a different team. Like, this team, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. This is Brunson's team. Randle is number 2. He is number 2 behind Brunson. Do you have any fears? Do you have any worries that Randle is going to be able to excel and really take on that role of being the number 2 option? Or do you think it's going to be a seamless transition? Because that's something that I was thinking about, seeing him at the end of the bench. Like, obviously it was killing him not to be a part of this Game 7, but my mind did wander, and I'm like, damn, next season, like, because it did, before Randle went down with that shoulder injury, it did look like he did make a change. But we just never know with him. So I just wanted to see where your head's at with that.
14-2 in January.
Yeah, with him, OG, and Brunson, right?
Lost to Dallas, who's in the conference finals, and they lost to Orlando Magic in a game that was a 4-point loss, and Jalen Brunson was out.
So
those were the only 2.
So you have no worries about him coming into the fray next season?
I think Julius Randle was never supposed to be the first option on the Knicks outside of his first season there, and, well, his second and kind of his third. I'm pretty sure from early on, Julius was told that he wouldn't be the first option forever because they were going to draft someone. That happened to be RJ. Now, RJ never broke out, and it became Randle's team again. But at the same time, when they signed Brunson, the Knicks knew how good Brunson was. I don't know how the hell they knew, but they knew. The Knicks went 14-2 in January. One of those losses was without their superstar player. Julius, I think, is fine with being the number 2 option, especially because they went that stretch where Brunson and Julius just kept putting up 30 apiece. The Knicks' biggest need this playoffs was the fact that they needed a big body who could create shots. That is what Julius Randle is. He's a big body who can create shots, will do that gritty work, and will get in anyone's face and not be afraid to do so. That's what they missed this playoff series. Julius is historically awesome against Pascal Siakam. I have no doubt the Knicks would have won this series. Julius is good enough to swing one game in the Knicks' favor. He's good enough to swing way more than that, by the way, but at least one. No. I cannot wait to see him back. I think he is a great fit for this team. I don't see any point in trading him unless you're getting someone unequivocally better who's also going to fit Brunson's timeline in a similar manner that Julius does. So I'm all for running this whole thing back. If you want to trade someone, if you want to trade Bogdanovich for a different tradable contract to have a different 9th man in the rotation, go for it. Only if you can net a tradable contract in return for Bogdanovich for maybe someone you think fits better. Mind you, I think Bogdanovich fits awesome. I think the Knicks should fully run this thing back.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. If we had Randle, we would have been in Eastern Conference Finals, but you also got to throw in the caveat of Randle in the playoffs as of late. He hasn't been great. Last season, I know the injury and the first round against the Atlanta Hawks, the season after the pandemic, he didn't really, I don't remember any injury news coming out of that series, but he didn't play great.
He wasn't injured. He was just tired and the Hawks did it perfectly. They game planned him perfectly.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you. Do you think that the Knicks would even entertain the idea of trading him this offseason because of all of the success we've had without him? I'm just throwing that question out there. I'm not saying that we should do it. I'm not saying that I want it to happen. I just want to.
I got you.
Because that's also a question that I've been seeing on the NBA talking head shows that about Randle and Brunson if they could work together. And I mean, I don't want to say they have a point, but it's kind of like I can't ignore it. The success that we've had without Randle in the playoffs, like it's evident. The ball movement is better. The body movement is better. And we know Julius Randle's a ball stopper, and that's one of his big problems. So, do you think that they might entertain just the idea of trading him this offseason?
I think it depends on the person who they're trading him for.
Let's just say it. Donovan Mitchell, man. Donovan Mitchell is the only person that is probably like the star of the free agents or whatever, the star of the trading rumors. Do you think they'll make a move for Donovan Mitchell?
I don't think they'll make a move for Donovan Mitchell that involves Julius Randle, and I don't think a team of Brunson, Mitchell, and Randle makes any sense at all. So I don't think the Knicks are going to trade for Donovan Mitchell. I'm convinced it's going to be the Brooklyn Nets, but that's a story for another day.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't see the point in trading Randle. He just re-signed with CAA after leaving 6 months prior, so I think that definitely helped the Knicks' relationship with him. If it needed any help, who knows? The Knicks don't let anything come out. They're absolutely locked down in there, which is probably for the best. And I just don't see a world where Randle gets traded unless someone comes on the block that is obviously better than Julius Randle and would fit the team arguably better. And I think the only person, and also fits Brunson's timeline, the only person that sort of fits what I'm talking about is Devin Booker, who's not getting traded. The Suns will trade everyone before Devin Booker. Bradley Beal is the no-trade clause, so he's probably not going anywhere unless he decides so. But they trade KD before they trade, yeah.
No, 100%.
I'm not saying they trade for Bradley Beal. I'm just saying, like, Bradley Beal's stuck with the Suns on a separate note. But, like...
Is there anybody else? So, right now, as far as players that are in the trade rumors, Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young, Durant, Bradley Beal... Is there anybody else that you can think of that's in the trade rumor that the Knicks maybe could possibly target if they were to entertain the Julius Randle trade? Because I can't think of anybody.
Paul George,
right? I forgot about him.
Like, they're just... Randle and Paul George are friends, and they can work out a pretty nice sign and trade. Not going to happen. I'm just saying it's an option that they could explore before they just probably run this thing back.
We always have to throw this guy's name whenever trade rumors linked to the Knicks. Cat is always linked.
Well, personally, I think for me in the offseason, you re-sign Hartenstein, you bring back OG on a nice budget of a deal considering those injuries. You give Hartenstein that 4 years, $72 million. One more thing I do got to say, guys. It's official. It's time to get into baseball.
Oh, my God.
That's why I'm wearing the Yankee jersey. The sports grind don't stop.
I don't care, man. It's always next season, even in the offseason. But,
that's facts. Guys, make sure to subscribe to Knicks Digest. It is officially the NBA offseason. I'm trying to say something positive about it. I'm real bummed out behind the smile, but we're going to make a ton of videos. Offseason videos are always a blast to do. We have a lot of good discourse in the comments around that time. That's when I and Dariel both kind of started our Knicks Digest journey.
Facts.
So make sure to subscribe, like this video, turn post notifications on, do all that good stuff. We'll be back. We will be back. It's going to be all right. We got this. And if you get bored, watch the Yankees. They're pretty good right now. But as you know, Jalen Brunson for all the MVPs in human history. Thank him for the greatest season I've ever seen personally. And most of all, guys, Taj Gibson for president. It never stops. Go Knicks, guys. Peace.
Peace.